Let me begin this evening by expressing my gratitude to the American people for your outpouring of love and support following the assassination attempt at my rally on Saturday. As you already know, the assassin's bullet came within a quarter of an inch of taking my life. So many people have asked me, what happened? Tell us what happened, please. And therefore, I will tell you exactly what happened, and you'll never hear it from me a second time because it's actually too painful to tell. It was a warm, beautiful day in the early evening in Butler Township in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Music was loudly playing, and the campaign was doing really well. I went to the stage, and the crowd was cheering wildly. Everybody was happy. I began speaking very strongly, powerfully, and happily, because I was discussing the great job my administration did on immigration at the southern border. We were very proud of it. Behind me and to the right was a large screen that was displaying a chart of border crossings under my leadership. The numbers were absolutely amazing. In order to see the chart, I started to, like this, turn to my right and was ready to begin a little bit further turn, which I'm very lucky I didn't do, when I heard a loud whizzing sound and felt something hit me really, really hard on my right ear. I said to myself, wow, what was that? It can only be a bullet. And moved my right hand to my ear, brought it down. My hand was covered with blood, just absolutely blood all over the place. I immediately knew it was very serious, that we were under attack, and in one movement proceeded to drop to the ground. Bullets were continuing to fly as very brave Secret Service agents rushed to the stage, and they really did. They rushed to the stage. These are great people at great risk, I will tell you, and pounced on top of me so that I would be protected. There was blood pouring everywhere, and yet, in a certain way, I felt very safe because I had God on my side. I felt that. The amazing thing is that prior to the shot, if I had not moved my head at that very last instant, the assassin's bullet would have perfectly hit its mark, and I would not be here tonight. We would not be together. The most incredible aspect of what took place on that terrible evening in the fading sun was actually seen later. In almost all cases, as you probably know, and when even a single bullet is fired, just a single bullet, and we had many bullets that were being fired, crowds run for the exits or stampede, but not in this case. It's very unusual. This massive crowd of tens of thousands of people stood by and didn't move an inch. In fact, many of them bravely but automatically stood up looking for where the sniper would be. They knew immediately it was a sniper. and then began pointing at him. You can see that if you look at the group behind me. That was just a small group compared to what was in front. Nobody ran, and by not stampeding, many lives were saved. But that isn't the reason that they didn't move. The reason is that they knew I was in very serious trouble. They saw it. They saw me go down. They saw the blood and thought, actually most did, that I was dead. They knew it was a shot to the head. They saw the blood. And there's an interesting statistic. The ears are the bloodiest part. If something happens with the ears, they bleed more than any other part of the body. For whatever reason, the doctors told me that. I said, why is there so much blood? He said, it's the ears. They bleed more. So we learned something, but they just, this beautiful crowd, they didn't want to leave me. They knew I was in trouble. They didn't want to leave me. And you can see that love written all over their faces. Incredible people. They're incredible people. Bullets were flying over us, yet I felt serene. But now the Secret Service agents were putting themselves in peril. They were in very dangerous territory. Bullets were flying right over them, missing them by a very small amount of inches. And then it all stopped. Our Secret Service sniper, from a much greater distance and with only one bullet used, took the assassin's life, took him out. I'm not supposed to be here tonight. Not supposed to be here.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Yeah. Thank you. But I'm not. And I'll tell you, I stand before you in this arena only by the grace of Almighty God. In watching the reports over the last few days, many people say it was a providential moment. Probably was. When I rose surrounded by Secret Service, the crowd was confused because they thought I was dead, and there was great, great sorrow. I could see that on their faces as I looked out. They didn't know I was looking out. They thought it was over. But I could see it, and I wanted to do something to let them know I was okay. I raised my right arm, looked at the thousands and thousands of people that were breathlessly waiting, and started shouting, "Fight, fight, fight." Thank you. Once my clenched fist went up, and it was high into the air. You've all seen that. The crowd realized I was okay and roared with pride for our country like no crowd I have ever heard before. Never heard anything like it. For the rest of my life, I will be grateful for the love shown by that giant audience of patriots that stood bravely on that fateful evening in Pennsylvania. Tragically, the shooter claimed the life of one of our fellow Americans, Corey Comparator. Unbelievable person, everybody tells me. Unbelievable. And seriously wounded, two other great warriors. Spoke to them today. David Dutch and James Copenhaver, two great people. I also spoke to all three families of these tremendous people. Our love and prayers are with them, and always will be. We're never going to forget them. They came for a great rally. They were serious Trumpsters, I want to tell you. They were serious Trumpsters, and still are. But Corey, unfortunately, we have to use the past tense. He was incredible. He was a highly respected former fire chief, respected by everybody. Was accompanied by his wife, Helen, incredible woman. I spoke to her today, devastated, and two precious daughters. He lost his life selflessly, acting as a human shield to protect them from flying bullets. He went right over the top of them and was hit. What a fine man he was. I want to thank the fire department and the family for sending his helmet, his outfit, and it was just something, and they're going to do something very special when they get it. But we did something which cannot match what happened, not even close. But I am very proud to say that over the past few days, we've raised $6.3 million for the families of David, James, and Corey, including from a friend of mine just called up. He sent me a check right here. I just got it. $1 million from Dan Newland. Thank you, Dan. And again, when speaking to the family, I told them, I said, well, I'm going to be sending you a lot of money, but it can't compensate. They all said the same thing. You're right, sir. We appreciate so much what you're doing, but nothing can take the place in the case of Corey. And the other two, by the way, they were very, very seriously injured, but now they're doing very well. They're going to be okay. They're going to be doing very well. They're warriors. So now I ask that we observe a moment of silence in honor of our friend Corey. There is no greater love than to lay down one's life for others. This is the spirit that forged America in her darkest hours, and this is the love that will lead America back to the summit of human achievement and greatness. This is what we need. Despite such a heinous attack, we unite this evening more determined than ever. I am more determined than ever, and so are you. So is everybody in this room. Thank you. Thank you very much. Our resolve is unbroken and our purpose is unchanged to deliver a government that serves the American people better than ever before. Nothing will stop me in this mission because our vision is righteous and our cause is pure. No matter what obstacle comes our way, we will not break, we will not bend, we will not back down, and I will never stop fighting for you, your family, and our magnificent country. Never. And everything I have to give with all of the energy and fight in my heart and soul, I pledge to our nation tonight. Thank you very much. I pledge that to our nation. We're going to turn our nation around, and we're going to do it very quickly. Thank you. This election should be about the issues facing our country and how to make America successful, safe, free, and great again. In an age when our politics too often divide us.
That was one of the most emotional moments I've ever seen in politics. It's a monumental speech, a monumental moment. I saw that Barry Weiss, I'm going to go through some reactions on it real quick just from the aftermath and kind of wind down from it. That's the biggest takeaway from the speech was that moment right there. And a lot of people didn't understand this, Barry Weiss being one of them. Overall, the speech, I guess, to some people felt long. For me, it probably could have went another hour, but maybe I'm used to listening to long podcasts and lives or stuff. I don't know. I had no issue with the length, and I think it was more because of it was 5 days ago about that he almost wasn't here anymore. I mean, he was almost eliminated, almost gone from the planet via inches. So I think a lot of people in the room, the vibe that I got from the people that I respect is he could have went for 5 hours basically, and it would have been fine. But Barry Weiss is always obviously in a different place, which is fine. I said he almost died a week ago. He's one of the most beloved political figures in the history of this country. As everybody knows, I have if you listen to the channel, I have very strong criticism of Trump. I'm not voting for Trump. That's irrelevant. I just add that to say Barry, I mean, I guess I obviously had more support for Trump than her, but you don't have to be a Trump supporter to really feel this moment. Historically, you're a writer. You're supposed to have some type of context in your head. So I said, if you don't understand that he almost died a few days ago, hasn't spoken on it yet, and is one of the most beloved political figures in the history of the country, no matter what you think, then just go to sleep. Go to bed. If you don't understand, I don't want to hear from you. I don't know, go make a sandwich or something. Cassandra McDonald, friend of show, very poignant. And she was a Bernie Sanders supporter in 2016. I believe it was 2016, yeah. She said, I love Trump so much and hate the RNC so much. I think she's a populist. It's scary how much I agree with Cassandra McDonald, and that's exactly where I'm at. I think she likes Trump more than I do. She's probably going to vote for Trump. I'm not voting for Trump, but I say this a lot. I think Trump should be on Mount Rushmore. I mean, that's how monumental, powerful, important he is. So I relate to that. Just giving you some more reactions here. I will touch on this because I have it in my bookmark here. The Republicans against Trump, they're trying to go with this narrative. All the Democrats are going with this narrative that the overall speech, Trump's RNC speech, was too long or whatever. He didn't have enough energy, whatever. You know, now they're saying, well, we have a chance. We'll swap out Joe Biden. We'll put in even Kamala, and we'll have a chance. We'll do it, right? So I said the unity part, I like the speech itself was, I don't know if solemn, it wasn't solemn. It was a speech that was reserved because of what happened. And I think Trump wants unity because he's like, where do I go from here? We know the problems. Nothing adds up properly on that day. Nothing's adding up. How it was handled, everything, nothing. And there's just all kinds of craziness around it. We have no answers to just very basic questions. None right now. And you know that means corruption. And Trump's like, man, he's older now. I mean, he's an older man. He's got 10 grandchildren. He's like, I'm alive. I just wanna, guys, I'm softening. And it's not just the tone or rhetoric. I think he is going to be softer on his policies and his stances. That's just my opinion. That's what it came across as. But he did say, with the unity part, before I go on to a couple more emotion reactions, is he said, if you guys want unity, drop the charges. Stop doing this kind of stuff. So I agree. You can't have unity. And it could be fair for the other side to say, well, I need you to stop doing this. I don't know what they would say, but both sides have to say, you stop this we'll stop this type of thing. I mean, literally like a Game of Thrones negotiation. Carla and Borisenko, friend of the show, says, okay, fine, I'm voting Trump. Wow. Breaking news. Carla and Borisenko voting Trump. Despite all the reasons not to, I love him, and his being alive is a miracle. I don't know where her faith is, so she's using words like miracle, but I don't know. I don't think she's not Christian. Let's just say that. Everything happens for a reason. She's kind of taking the same arc I have a little bit with the whole Nick Fuentes stuff, and she's talking about fascism. She's a libertarian, and she's authentic as hell, and that's why I really rock with her, because she'll like, okay, that's the way it is, or that's true, I'll change my opinion. People get the wrong impression of her because she doesn't like, she's bigger than like my channel and stuff, so she gets a lot of more negative stuff, so she wants to really nip that in the bud because it can mess with your head. So people get that wrong. She's very fair-minded. And I seen her and Cassandra McDonald chatting all the time, so I don't know why she wouldn't go on Timcast. Or she should go on the Culture War, I think. But she's voting Trump now. Wow, right after that. She felt the power of the moment. She's very authentic. Not going to be a phony. Because she was supporting Chase Oliver. And I'm way off on that one. If you don't know, the Libertarian Party presidential candidate. Colin Rugg says Donald Trump tells the story about how he almost lost his life on Saturday, says he will never tell the story again because it's too painful. That part in the beginning, man, where he was like, I'm never going to tell this story again.
Let me begin this evening by expressing my gratitude to the American to tell. Therefore, I will tell you exactly what happened in my life. So many people have asked me, what happened? Tell us what happened, please. And therefore, I will tell you exactly what happened. And you'll never hear it from me a second time because it's actually too painful to tell.
Man, you could hear a pin drop in that room. No matter what you think about Trump, that's a powerful moment. Well, some people like Gavin Newsom, they weighed in. And these people, to me, they just come across as so aloof, just the wrong tone. And obviously not Dave Smith, Gavin Newsom. But let's go to Dave Smith first. Dave Smith says Trump is affected by the assassination attempt. You can feel it. You could see it from day one of the RNC. And it's pretty understandable. It's very strange to see him rattled. I wouldn't describe it as rattled. It's more of it's almost like he doesn't want to do the petty stuff anymore. He was very grateful. He always is, but thank you to Kid Rock. Thank you to everyone. I feel like he's going to try to be less petty. And I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but he's got to be where he is. He's the one that survived. But that doesn't mean he should be president, though. But, wherever he goes on this journey, he seemed way more in touch with his faith. I guess that will do it. If that doesn't do it, I don't know what will. Dave Smith finished that comment off by saying it's the most human he's ever been. Gavin Newsom, perfect example of the left, just out of touch and just, I don't want to say heartless, but just aloof and not understanding the moment. None of them do. Boring, rambling liar. We will beat him. What? It didn't even put that much in there that would be. They just use this term liar. They're using liar a lot. Like, does that poll rel? I don't know. But if I was on the left, how would I attack this? I wouldn't even attack this speech. I don't think this is a speech that, like, you could attack how long it was, but I wouldn't. There's so many other things to attack. I wouldn't attack on this speech, but they're all trying to kind of battle to see who's going to be next. I don't know if Gavin Newsom's going to put his hat in. I actually don't know now, because it looks like the deep state has had their bet. And what that means is you can bet on both sides. Like, I'm going to flip a coin. Is it going to be heads or tails? Maybe at first I thought it was tails, and I'm like, ooh, I bet too much. Let me bet 20 on tails, and I'll put 10 on heads. So your bet. And I think what they've done is they turned Donald Trump. He's pretty much Mitt Romney, Lindsey Graham, Tim Scott, policy-wise. There's not much difference. I mean, you break it down on tariffs, there might be a little bit different between him and the corporate Republicans. On the deportation, he might be a little bit more aggressive on it than the corporate Republicans. And on free trade, the corporate Republicans are more on that than Trump, who wants the jobs in America. Other than that, there's not many things I can think of where Trump is like way more populist than the corporate Republicans. They've nerfed him. They've nerfed his superpowers. It's like a video game. In 2015, 2016, he came out. He was on instinct. He was powerful. And they dialed down the notch. And he's not really that much different than you guys are cheering on Mitt Romney. It basically is what I'm saying. So I think that's how they hedge their bet. If they don't win, then you still got a Zio. He's still doing that. There's no debate there. So after that, then what else do you really care? Like, we're going to half on trade. I mean, that's nothing substantial there. So I think I don't even know if they really care who wins at this point. I know he just had the incident Saturday, but I'm still not sure how much that really matters in the grand scheme of things. So contrasting that with other speeches, he was definitely more subdued. The unification message I disagree with it, but it is a different message. I respect it. Tucker was great that night. Dana White was great. Today was a good day for the most part. Pompeo was trash, but there was that Pastor Sowell. He was great. He was really great. Share your thoughts on the story. Did it impact you in the comment sections? If you're a Trump supporter, if you're not a Trump supporter, I'd love to hear from you, but I wanted to share that just in case you hadn't seen it. Take care.
Middle MAGA.